Unlock the unknown. Unlock the unknown. So get inside your soul and dig a little deeper. Unlock the unknown. Discovering the truth will make you feel greater. Like a raging focus pain. Mysteries are hurricanes. The truth you seek is unknown. Unlock the unknown. I won't accept it what the skeptics even have to say. They disconnect and made a record and it's so cliche. So much evidence is building up in opposition. So many elements conclude the answer to this question. From the page of it to actuality. To unlock a locked door, where's the magic key? Unlock the unknown. So deep inside your soul and dig a little deeper. Unlock the unknown. Discovering the truth will make you feel freer. Like a raging focus pain. These mysteries are hurricanes. The truth you seek is unknown. Unlock the unknown.
And out of this cane field comes this figure walking upright.
I know what I saw that night. I saw it. I thought I was either dreaming or having some kind of hallucination.
That thing must have been at least 8 foot tall, maybe taller. Very athletic looking, very muscular. I would say the arms were 3 feet across.
And I seen this thing crossing the road, and it looked like it was probably 7.5 feet tall, maybe. And I mean, this thing was huge.
And welcome back to Squatch Ranger Files episode 69. I'm your host, and today marks a special milestone for the show. Usually we dive into files that come across my desk, or that we've unearthed during field investigations. But for episode 69, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to focus on the heart of this organization, all of you. We've officially titled this episode the NOBRO Community Archive. And the reason is simple. You built it. Every report we are covering today came directly from you, our listeners, and our community, writing in, sharing your encounters, and helping us expand the official NOBRO database. You know, in this line of work, we talk a lot about the how and the where of Bigfoot encounters. But as every researcher knows, the most important part of these files isn't just the creature, it's the human experience. It's the sheer, unadulterated fear that hits you when you realize you are not at the top of the food chain in your own backyard. Today, in episode 69, I pulled 5 files from the NOBRO database that highlight exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to cover a lot of ground today, literally and figuratively. We'll start with a personal 3-part account out of Glendale, LeFlore County. This witness experienced the full spectrum: an unnerving howl, a close encounter in a pitch-black pasture, and a terrifying night where something literally knocked on the bedroom window, as if it knew exactly who was inside. Then, we're heading down to Choctaw County near Lake Raymond Gary to look at a 2013 daytime sighting where a father and son caught a glimpse of something that defied their expectations of what a creature in the Oklahoma woods should look like. After that, we're back in LeFlore County for a high-octane encounter on Highway 59. Imagine driving home at 2 a.m., high beams on, and watching something jump the fence and vault across the blacktop with a vertical movement that proves, once and for all, that this wasn't just another deer on the road. We'll also look at a recent 2026 report from Murray County, where a camper at the Lake of the Arbuckles woke up to a dark figure hovering over their tent, accompanied by that unmistakable foul odor we hear so much about. And finally, we'll head over to McIntosh County and the waters of Eufaula Lake, where something is howling near the North Canadian River. It's long, it's deep, and according to the locals, it's definitely not a coyote or a mountain lion. These aren't just stories, they are windows into the unknown. So let's get comfortable, lock your doors, even if that doesn't seem to stop them, and let's dive into these files. This is Squatch Ranger Files, Episode 69, the NOBRO Community Archive. If you are a new listener to the show, welcome. You are now an official Squatch Ranger. Your duties include have an open mind, ask questions, trust but confirm, and always seek the truth. Thanks for joining the show. If you're enjoying the episodes, make sure to follow Squatch Ranger on TikTok, where I post short clips, report highlights, and behind-the-scenes research updates. I've officially launched the Squatch Ranger online t-shirt store over on TeePublic. If you're into Bigfoot, cryptids, and that deeper side of belief, these designs were made with you in mind. It's a perfect blend of faith, mystery, and the Squatch life. These designs are available on high-quality shirts, hoodies, stickers, and more, with multiple color options and comfortable fits. Whether you're out in the woods, at a conference, or just repping Squatch culture day to day, there's something there for you. Your support helps keep Squatch Ranger Files going and allows me to continue bringing you real reports, real witnesses, and real encounters. That's teepublic.com. Search Squatch Ranger. Or, for a direct link to my t-shirt store, I'll also provide my store's link in the show notes and the description of this video. And as always, thank you for supporting the show. If you're enjoying the show and you feel led to support it, you don't have to buy a t-shirt. There's a PayPal tip jar and a Cash App QR code on the screen right now. This is totally optional. Think of it like buying me a cup of coffee while I'm digging through reports and chasing down these stories. Either way, I appreciate you being here. Before we jump into tonight's Sasquatch Bulletin Board, we've got a few important updates we want to share with all of you. Keep an eye out for our brand new NOBRO Investigator Spotlight videos. These videos will feature different NOBRO members each month, helping keep everyone updated on what's happening with the organization. You'll hear about current investigations, Bigfoot news, upcoming programs and events, new research, field updates, and much more straight from the investigators themselves. We've got a lot of exciting things planned for the future of NOBRO, and we're glad to have all of you along for the journey. Speaking of exciting things, I want to let everybody know about an awesome upcoming event happening the first weekend of October. Bigfoot Capital Events of Honaby is presenting Bigfoot at the 40, a Bigfoot festival and conference happening October 2nd through the 3rd down in Honaby, Oklahoma at Christ 40 Acres. There's going to be speakers, researchers, vendors, and a whole lot of Bigfoot talk all weekend long. You'll even see familiar faces from the Bigfoot community, including members of NOBRO. If you're looking for a fun weekend surrounded by fellow Squatchers, make plans now to attend Bigfoot at the 40 this October. Now, let's get into the Sasquatch Bulletin Board. Alright, Rangers, it's time again for the segment that proves Bigfoot culture is alive, well, and possibly needs supervision. Welcome to the Sasquatch Bulletin Board. This is the part of the show where we celebrate memes, weirdness, and the undeniable truth that if there's a holiday, somehow, some way, Sasquatch is involved. First up, we've got a classic. Someone decided to remix Sir Mix-a-Lot for the Squatch community. Look, I'm not saying I spend my free time analyzing footprints, but if you like big feet, well, you've definitely come to the right place. Just don't ask me to help you find matching shoes. Next, we've got a public service announcement. If you're sweating out there, remember, he's probably sweating too. The hair-to-body ratio on these guys is no joke. If you see a Sasquatch at your cabin window, maybe just keep the AC on low and be a good neighbor. It's hot out there. This one is all for the doubters out there, including my wife. It says, "A guy like me is hard to find." You're telling me. I've spent more nights than I can count trying to find one, and let me tell you, they don't make it easy. It's like a really, really high-stakes game of hide and seek. Check this out. Someone put Bigfoot on the pitch for the World Cup. It says, because legends don't sit on the bench. I'd love to see a goalie try to stop a penalty kick from a 9-foot-tall creature. Although I'm pretty sure the FIFA refs would have a nightmare of a time trying to check his eligibility. Okay, you've got to see this one. We've all seen the viral clip of WNBA star Sophie Cunningham pointing at another player during that scuffle with Caitlin Clark. Well, someone went and made a crossover meme with Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot wearing an Indiana jersey doing that exact same intense point. The caption reads, "When Bigfoot sees you entering his woods." And honestly, that's exactly how I imagine they feel when we get too close to their habitat. He's basically saying, "You're in the wrong neighborhood, buddy." This next one hits home. It's a drawing of Chewbacca with a big sign that says, "I am not Bigfoot." Listen, we've all been there. You tell someone you study Bigfoot, and they immediately go, "Oh, like Star Wars?" No, Brenda, not like Star Wars. We're talking cryptids, not Wookiees. And here's a little bit of sass for the skeptics. It says, either you believe in Bigfoot, or you're wrong. Short, sweet, and to the point. No middle ground here, folks. And we're closing out the board with this one. Some people go to great lengths to get their message across. Climbing the top of a skyscraper just to wave a "Bigfoot is real" flag? Now that is dedication. I don't know who these people are, but I respect the hustle. And that's going to wrap up this week's segment of the Sasquatch Bulletin Board. Memes, sightings, and weirdness. Proof that Bigfoot culture is alive, well, and only getting weirder. If you've got memes, news, or just absolutely unhinged Squatch content, send it my way. You might hear it on a future episode. Alright, let's get back to the show. Now it's time for the segment, Listener Comments from Previous Episodes. This one comes from Nancy G on Spotify. She says, listening July 14th, 2026. We appreciate the support from listeners like Nancy G. Thanks for joining us on this journey. If you have an encounter report, please share it. It helps our research immensely. Keep believing and stay Sasquatch strong. Okay, if you have an encounter story, please share it with us. Email squatchranger@gmail.com. We love to collect your reports and share them on this episode. This episode is proof of it. It's called the NOBRO Community Archives. We are featuring you. So please, write into the show, squatchranger@gmail.com. Alright guys, it's now time to dive into the reports. This is Squatch Ranger Files, Episode 69, the NOBRO Community Archive. Number 1. Teenager sees dark figure in pasture. NOBRO Case File 26SE0178LF. 1993 to 1994. Southeast District, LeFlore County, Oklahoma. Class A nighttime sighting and Class B vocalizations. Thank you for investigating Bigfoot in the LeFlore County area. To give a little background, my grandparents lived in the Glendale community by Worcester all their lives, and I have very fond memories of visiting them while growing up and becoming familiar with the area. I remember of hearing my grandmother talk about boogers in the woods, and don't go out after dark or the boogers will get ya. Of course, this could have meant anything, and any kind of generic warning for a kid. But who knows? And sometimes when my cousins and I would say we heard or saw something in the woods, my grandfather would say, "Don't bother them, and they won't bother you." Again, could be any generic warning to a kid. But the older we get, my cousins and I often wonder if these were generic warnings, or did they know more than they were telling us? I always loved visiting my grandparents in Glendale, but at night, the whole atmosphere would change. If I was outside at night, I always got the feeling like I was being watched, and I would have nightmares of a Bigfoot walking down the road in front of the house. Not sure where those dreams came from. When I was around maybe 18 or 19 years old, I was at my grandparents' house, and I heard the scariest scream or howl that I've ever heard in my life. It walked by the house, out the backyard, and through the pasture, and into the woods, howling the entire way. I tried to follow it to see if I could see what it was, but it was always too far ahead for me to catch up. Plus, chasing something in the woods without protection didn't seem like a good idea. So maybe a few nights after this, I was at my cousin's house, who lived just up the hill from my grandparents'. As dumb teenagers are, he said something like, "Hey, why don't we get up in the middle of the night, walk down the hill, through the pasture, and go swimming in the pond?" And as dumb teenagers do, we proceeded to do this. Not caring it was the middle of the night and pitch black. Not caring that the pond was nasty and probably filled with snakes. Maybe 2 nights in a row. On the 3rd night, my cousin said he didn't want to go again. If I woke up in the middle of the night, don't wake him up. So on the 3rd night, I woke up, walked down the hill, through the pasture, and went swimming in the pond by myself. After a while, I realized how stupid this was, and I suddenly got creeped out. I got out of the pond and started walking toward the road, through the pasture, when I stopped. Someone or something was standing in the pasture with me. It was so dark, I couldn't get a good look at whatever it was, though I could tell something was standing at least 6 or 7 feet tall. I froze in terror and thought about how dumb I was to be out there in the pasture in the middle of the night. Somebody or something could kill me, and it would all be for nothing. I finally managed to turn away and make it to the road, walking as fast as I could up the hill. The whole time I kept thinking that something was going to grab me from behind at any minute, and that would be it. I finally made it up the hill, went into the house and locked the door behind me. My cousin was still asleep in bed. The next morning, I told him what had happened and what I had seen. And we went down the hill and into the pasture, and there was nothing in that pasture. No tree, no fence, no nothing. Not anything taller than a blade of grass that I could have mistaken it for. Maybe a couple of nights later, I was back at my grandparents' house, sleeping on what we refer to as the back porch. At some point in time, my grandparents built a bedroom onto the back of their house, and we all called it the back porch. Anyway, I was sleeping in one bed, while my cousin was sleeping in the other bed, on the other side of the room. Where I was sleeping, there were windows above my head, and all the way down my right side. Something woke me up in the middle of the night, knocking on the window directly above my head. Only 2 times in my life have I ever experienced true fear, and this was one of those times. I'm talking extreme fear gripped me to the point where I couldn't move, and I couldn't speak. I wanted to wake my cousin up, but I was too scared to move. The knocking came again, and another wave of fear gripped me. Whatever it was, it sounded like it was walking on 2 legs. As I heard it walk away from the window above my head and went to the right side of the house, I could hear the leaves crackle under its feet as it walked around, perhaps trying to decide what to do. Then, in a couple of seconds, it walked back and knocked a 3rd time on the window directly above my head. And another wave of fear gripped me. I couldn't understand why I was so terrified. We were in the country, so there was a very slim chance this could have been a man, for he would have to be walking around in pitch darkness, to be walking around in someone's backyard. I guess it could be possible he had a flashlight, but still it seemed extremely unlikely, since the remoteness of the house didn't see many people going by. Another thought came to mind. Whatever this thing was, it knew my exact location within the house. By knocking on the window directly above my head. Out of all of the windows in that house, why did he knock on that one? The truth is, I was too afraid to look out the window, so I never actually saw what was knocking on my window. However, I am convinced that it was a Bigfoot, for the fact that I couldn't see a person just randomly knocking on someone's window in the middle of the night, in the middle of the woods, and for the fact that the experience made me so terrified. I can't explain it. It just felt unnatural. To feel that much fear by someone or something knocking on the window, yes, scary. But how did it create that much fear? These three instances, the howl, the sighting in the pasture, and the late night knocking, I am convinced these were all Bigfoot encounters. Follow-up, investigators report. This report documents a series of 3 distinct encounters occurring over a period of approximately 1 week in the Glendale community, LeFlore County, Oklahoma. The primary witness, then aged 18 to 19 years old, reports significant interaction with a cryptid entity characterized by vocalizations, visual observation, and targeted behavioral displays like knocking and window tapping. A high-intensity scream or howl was heard originating from the backyard, moving through an adjacent pasture, retreating into the surrounding timber. James attempted to track the sound but abandoned the pursuit due to lack of personal protection and the significant lead distance of the source. Event B, the visual sighting. Approximately 48 hours post Event A, witness was located in a pasture at night. The witness encountered a figure approximately 6 to 7 feet in height. Due to lighting conditions, pitch dark, morphological features were obscured. The presence triggered an immediate fight or flight response. The witness surveyed the exact location the following morning. The area was found to be clear of vegetation, fencing, or any physical obstructions that could account for the height or silhouette observed. Event C, behavioral interaction. 2 nights post Event B, the witness was sleeping on the back porch, an enclosed bedroom addition of the residence. The witness was awakened by rhythmic, intentional knocking on a window directly above his head. The entity was heard moving on 2 legs along the right side of the house before returning to tap the same window a second and third time. The witness reported an overwhelming, unnatural sense of terror, citing the entity's deliberate selection of that specific window as evidence of intelligence and targeting. The case presents several high-value indicators. The specific knocking on the window above the witness's head suggests an awareness of the witness's presence within the structure. The progression from vocalizations to visual presence and finally to direct interaction with the dwelling mirrors patterns often reported in high-activity areas. The unnatural fear reported is a consistent, albeit difficult to quantify, recurring theme in Bigfoot reports, often hypothesized by some researchers as an infrasound byproduct or a defensive reaction to the creature's presence. Conclusion: the witness demonstrated high credibility in their recall of the events and their willingness to investigate the scene despite the fear involved. The account is categorized as a high-confidence encounter, consistent behavior and vocalizations. The case file will be retained in the NOBRO database for future comparative analysis regarding regional behavior patterns in LeFlore County. Number 2. Father and son observed dark figure near Lake Raymond Gary. NOBRO case file 13SE017CH. 2013. Southeast District, Choctaw County. Class A daytime sighting. On March 16, 2013, the reporting party, GR, was driving with his son, R, after leaving Lake Raymond Gary. They were traveling on West Lake Road and approaching the Y intersection where West Lake Road and East Road 2080 merge. As they neared the intersection, R observed a tall, dark figure standing just inside the tree line on the north side of the road. After passing the figure and beginning the turn onto East Road 2080, GR looked toward the location his son had been watching and also observed the figure. GR described the subject as being more than 6 to 7 feet tall and considerably broader through the shoulders than an average man. He stated that the figure appeared very muscular, possessed a large head, and was covered in dark hair. He described the hair color as dark brown rather than black. After discussing what they had both observed, GR and R concluded that the creature they saw was most likely a Bigfoot. GR reported that this was only the second time they had visited the lake area and that they had never experienced anything similar before. Follow up. NOBRO investigators report. The reported sighting occurred in a rural section of Choctaw County, characterized by dense timber, creek drainage systems, and relatively low human population density. The area surrounding Lake Raymond Gary provides abundant wildlife habitat and natural cover, making it consistent with terrain often associated with Sasquatch reports throughout southeastern Oklahoma. A notable aspect of this report is the presence of 2 witnesses who independently observed the same figure from a moving vehicle. Although the sighting was brief, both witnesses described a large, upright subject exhibiting characteristics inconsistent with known wildlife species native to the region. The witnesses' descriptions were generally consistent regarding the creature's size, build, and coloration. The figure was reportedly standing stationary near the edge of the timberline, allowing both witnesses an unobstructed view as they approached the intersection. The description of much broader shoulders, significant height, muscular build, and full body hair aligns with numerous historical Sasquatch reports documented throughout Oklahoma and neighboring states. Although no physical evidence was collected and no immediate follow-up investigation was conducted, the location remains noteworthy due to continued reports originating from the surrounding area. During the production and release of NOBRO's documentary, Something in LeFlore County, a viewer identified as K commented that they had recently heard unusual howling near the south side of Raymond Gary Lake. The witness specifically stated that the vocalizations were unlike anything they had previously heard in the area. While this reported vocalization occurred many years after the 2013 sighting and cannot be directly connected to the observed figure, it is significant that the location referenced by the commenter lies within the same general area as this encounter. Reports involving unexplained vocalizations, howls, screams, and wood knocks have frequently been associated with alleged Sasquatch activity throughout southeastern Oklahoma. Based on the available information, NOBRO classifies this incident as a credible visual sighting involving multiple witnesses. While the report lacks supporting physical evidence, the consistency of the witness observations, the characteristics described, and the continued reporting of unusual activity within the Raymond Gary Lake and Fort Towson region warrant inclusion within the organization's database of significant southeastern Oklahoma encounters. Number 3. Man sees upright creature through high beams on Highway 59. NOBRO Case File 26SE0175LF. 2013. Southeast District, LeFlore County, Oklahoma. Class A nighttime sighting. It was around 2 a.m. during the winter. I was coming home from work in Fort Smith, heading north on Highway 59. Back then, the highway was still a 2-lane road, and there was hardly any traffic at that time of night. Once I got past Sunset Corner, I rarely saw another vehicle all the way to where I lived near Applegate Cove on Kerr Lake. The night was clear, and I was driving about 65 miles per hour in my Chevy S10 with my high beams on. All of a sudden, I saw something jump into view. It was right at the edge of my headlight beam. I initially thought it was a deer, so I floored it to try to get a better look. But the creature didn't stop. It kept running and jumping. I swerved into the opposite lane to keep my headlights on it for as long as I could, while hitting the brakes. Whatever it was, it jumped the fence from the right and landed pretty close to the edge of the blacktop. Then, it jumped again and landed a little over halfway across the road. With one more jump, it almost made it to the fence on the other side before I lost sight of it as I drove past. I know it wasn't a deer. A deer's body is more horizontal, but this thing was more vertical. That's what caught my eye immediately. I've worked second shift for years, and even when I go in early for the first shift, I see deer frequently. I've hit 3, had several close calls, and I know exactly where to look out for them and what they look like, day or night. I don't know what I saw that night, but I can tell you for sure, it definitely wasn't a deer. Follow up, NOBRO investigators report. This report was captured via TikTok comment sections following the publication of the NOBRO YouTube video, Something in LeFlore County. The report involves the witness, Bill 788, providing anecdotal evidence of potential cryptid activity in Oklahoma. These accounts have been archived into the NOBRO database for future field investigation and trend analysis. Location: Highway 59, near where Cache Creek crosses under the highway, just north of the Highway 9 junction. Approximately 2 a.m., winter, roughly 20 years ago. The witness was driving north at 65 miles per hour in a Chevy S10, returning home from work in Fort Smith. The road conditions were clear with minimal traffic. The witness observed an unidentified creature enter the roadway from the right, jumping from the fence line. The creature performed 3 distinct, powerful jumps. First, landing near the edge of the blacktop, then moving over halfway across the road, and finally reaching the opposite side before the witness passed it. The witness, who is familiar with deer behavior and anatomy due to frequent travel and past close calls, explicitly stated the creature was not a deer. Key differences noted were the vertical posture of the creature, as opposed to the horizontal body profile of a deer, and the unique, bounding gait of the entity. Number 4. Woman sees creature through top of tent mesh. 2026, Southeast District, Murray County, Oklahoma. Class A, nighttime sighting, and Class B, smell and odor. I stayed there last weekend and woke up in the middle of the night. I thought I saw something big and dark hovering over our tent, as if it were watching us through the mesh. However, I enjoy being scared when I am camping, so I am going back tomorrow. I came across this post because I was trying to see if anyone else had an experience like ours. Also, there was a strange smell. Follow up, NOBRO investigators report. An individual reported a potential encounter while camping at the Chickasaw National Recreation Area near Lake of the Arbuckles during the weekend of May 29th through 31st, 2026. The witness described observing a large, dark figure hovering over their tent in the middle of the night, noting the impression that the entity was watching the occupants through the tent's mesh screen. Key observations: a large, dark entity positioned directly above the tent. No specific sounds or physical contact reported. The witness explicitly noted the presence of a strange smell associated with the encounter. The witness expressed a tolerance for and interest in the scary aspect of the experience, evidenced by their intent to return to the location immediately following the report. Number 5. Man hears vocalizations near Coon Creek. NOBRO Case File 26NE0176MI. Northeast District, McIntosh County, Oklahoma. Class B, vocalizations. I live in Coon Creek at Eufaula Lake, and you can hear something howling out there. It's not coyotes, and it's not a mountain lion. It's something different. It's louder, it's long, and it's deep. It sounds like the vocalizations are coming from the area where the North Canadian River runs into the lake. Follow up. NOBRO investigators report. Location: Coon Creek, Eufaula Lake, McIntosh County, near the North Canadian River inflow. Auditory phenomenon: unidentified vocalizations. The witness provided this report via TikTok in response to the NOBRO YouTube feature regarding something in LeFlore County. The witness describes vocalizations that are distinct from common local fauna, specifically excluding mountain lions and coyotes. The characteristics of the sound, described as long, deep, and loud, warrant further investigation and comparison against known baseline audio, such as the Ohio howl. Recommendation: schedule a field visit to the Coon Creek, North Canadian River confluence to conduct passive audio monitoring and attempt to capture digital recordings of the area. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Squatch Ranger Files. Remember, whether you're out camping, hiking, or just exploring the great outdoors, always stay alert, stay respectful, and keep those recorders ready. You never know when the next howl, knock, or footprint might show up. If you do head out on a Squatch investigation, make sure you leave no trace. We rangers take care of the woods and keep an eye out for the mysterious creatures that roam them. Until next time, this is the Squatch Ranger signing off. Stay curious, stay safe, and keep it squatchy.